Hello, Vikings. All right, we've made it almost through Unit 4. We just have one more topic to cover, and that's ideology and social policy. So I asked students to basically just tell me what do you think of now when you hear the term conservative, liberal, or libertarian, basically? What are you thinking about now? What is your better understanding of that? And we shared a lot of interesting things as far as how do we connect those in our brain now. So today our learning objectives is just to explain how political ideologies vary on the role of government in addressing those issues, basically, and kind of some of the differences between, again, liberals, conservatives, and libertarians. So personal privacy is an area where liberals and libertarians are going to be more aligned because personal privacy is very important to liberals, and especially when it comes to the right to choose and the right to have an abortion, basically. So they'll be in agreement with libertarians on that. Conservatives are more likely to hold those strong religious values. And so while conservatives tend to say, less government involvement, less government interaction, in this case, they're okay with a government regulation, basically. They actually prefer for government to work to actually actively stop access to abortions and that kinds of stuff. Liberals believe in a right to privacy. They actually argue the government really should not be involved in that policy-making process, and that it really should be a woman's choice, basically. When it comes to economic equality, again, conservative ideologies and libertarians basically favor less government involvement to ensure that social and economic equality. Some don't see it as much of a problem, and then others feel like government is actually going to make things worse and create other problems and dependencies, so that it should be something that people are just focused on their own. Whereas liberal ideologies tend to favor more government involvement to try to ensure that social and economic equality. So definitely the people that were protesting over the summer, the racial injustice protests, most of those would share a liberal ideology, likely. So again, liberal social ideology favor less defense spending. They're more focused on protecting the rights of the accused. They believe the government should not regulate private personal matters. They do support an active government role in public education. They favor a total separation of church and state in school, basically. So a liberal would be against required prayer or school prayer. They oppose vouchers or school choice, because especially those that can be used for religious schools. They don't want tax dollars going to religious organizations. And they're way more likely to favor social liberty. Conservative social ideology is they favor, they like more defense spending. They're more focused on punishing crime and increasing a police presence. They believe the government should protect traditional values, even if it intrudes on individual freedoms. And they favor less of a federal role in government education. They also support the voucher programs, the school choice to attend private schools, including religious schools. Conservatives are less concerned about the Establishment Clause and like prayer in school. They feel like it's not that big of a deal. And again, they're more religious, so they're more likely to favor that. They also favor social order over social liberty. Libertarians favor a dramatic reduction in defense spending. They want decriminalization of what they call victimless crimes, basically, and protecting the rights of the accused. So, for example, libertarians are more likely to favor legalization of drugs. They say if you don't have laws on drugs, then people aren't violating the laws, and people should have the ability to use those. Whereas liberals and conservatives are more likely to say we think of drugs as a threat to public health, and so we don't want to allow that type of behavior. They say the government should not regulate private personal matters. They favor privatization of education because, again, they want a smaller government role. And they favor maximum possible social liberty. So social policy, what's the big differences between a Republican and a libertarian on social policy? Again, a libertarian is likely to say, let's decriminalize drugs, let's have same-sex marriage, and let's be pro-choice. Whereas a Republican is likely to say, no, I actually want strict enforcement of our drug laws. I want laws against same-sex marriage, and I want laws that are pro-life, basically. So again, just a chart showing you kind of what's similar that libertarians have between left and right, and then what separates them, basically. So a great crash course on social policy. I recommend you check that out. Interesting, we will look at this in the future. These are basically some Supreme Court cases, and we're going to have different interpretations once we learn about those as far as which decisions are more likely to be favored by liberals or favored by conservatives. And then I got a great question, which is a chart question, basically, where you're going to look at the statements on the left and the statements on the right. You're only going to select the answer choice if both sides are true. So if half the side is true, but the other half is false, then that's not going to be a correct answer choice. For example, A says the federal government should have a stronger role in shaping education. Now that's false for conservatives. So A is definitely not going to be our answer choice because this is false. That's more of a liberal position. Then this says the federal government should provide more funding to public schools. See, that is a true liberal position, definitely. So half that answer is correct. Remember, with these types of questions, if it's half wrong, it's all wrong, basically. The answer choice has to be two correct statements on both sides. Take a look at that question. And I got some other practice questions there for you if you're interested. Another extra credit opportunity to learn about kind of same-sex marriage policies and how the different ideologies feel about that. And you can take a look at the Supreme Court ruling that basically legalized same-sex marriage across the country. Because many states did have laws preventing same-sex marriage, but in 2015 there was a Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court basically said, because of the 14th Amendment, we have to honor the right of same-sex couples to get married, and so states should not be allowed to ban that. But it definitely was, it was considered a liberal victory, and conservatives definitely rebelled against this decision. So you can kind of look at that and try to understand, well, why did people have the disagreements around that decision, basically? And if you want to type that out into a reflection, you're welcome to, and we'll throw some extra credit your way. All right, there are your optional review questions. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have them. Take a look at these to test your understanding of the topic. I think you can subscribe over here, and then you probably can watch another video here, and then you also can have a great day, Vikings. Love to all. You made it through Unit 4. I'm proud of you. Have a good day.